In today's video, we're going to make some spooky moon backgrounds with Distress Mica Stain. Hi, I'm Stacy. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy and are inspired to create. We're going to jump right in. I'm going to go over the products we'll be using today. A Lawn Fawn stencil, the Nighttime Sky stencil. You could use, there's watercolor paper. We've got Distress Mica spray stains there, and one that I made out of a Distress reinker and Perfect Pearls. So if you don't have the color but you have the reinker, make your own. I don't know if it'll work exactly the same, but as you can see from the photos, it turned out great. So all I'm going to do is take that moon mask there and lay it in the middle. I'm going to make sure those mica stains are shook up really well before we spray them. And you don't have to have this stencil. You could cut, I've seen Amy R from Prairie Paper Ink use just a circle die that she used to cut out of Yupo paper, or any type of plastic. You could probably use acetate as a mask there as well. And then you spray it, and then you're going to dry it. And it doesn't have to be completely dry, but mostly dry. I pretty much dried it so that I could clean up underneath it. See there? And then you're just going to spray right in the center of that moon and let it bleed and activate those Distress Mica stains. And I'm using a pokey tool to hold the watercolor paper down, and then I'm dabbing a tiny bit of that up. I noticed on one of them that I did with that pokey tool, I kept it there too long and it left a little dot in the center. If you're going to put something over it, it doesn't matter. So play around, see what you can, make happen with different, you could use your finger to hold it down if you wanted to. I just was trying not to get my fingers inky. Wasn't successful. That's pin white ink. You could use gouache. You could use acrylic paint. You could use Copic opaque white. Whatever type of white that you like to use for splatters. And I put the moon mask back down because stars would not be in front of the moon. They're behind them. So that's why I laid that there. But you could leave it off too and do it. And you could also, if you wanted to, I want to try this with just using a circle mask and then ink blending and then spraying and see what happens. I would imagine with Distress inks it would do the same thing. So here's some different backgrounds I made using this technique. I'm sorry I forgot to include the green one in there, but it's going to be with this card here. Same process. And I believe I used Tree Lot and that homemade Black Soot Distress Mica. And I used that black Perfect Pearls. It's almost like a gray gunmetal. And then I added some of that. And I didn't add very much. And I added, quite a few dropperfuls, like 2 or 3 in that size bottle you saw there of the reinker. You could probably use less if you use a smaller bottle, or you could use possibly, in one of the little misters. Just depending. Give it a go. See what you have at home, and you may even have other sprays that activate with water that are water reactive that you could try using. And then this is a stamp set from Moonlight Whispers. It doesn't have a name. I tried looking it up. I think it's called like Zombie Pumpkin Brains or Pumpkin Brain Girl. I couldn't find it for sale anymore. This is a stamp set that I got from Tina, Crafty Bean. Hi Tina, if you're watching. And so, but I think you could probably use any image, and if you color it green and you use the background, you could convert it into a Halloween scene. And you could do this with any images. You could use cutesy images. You could use more scary ones. It may not even be for Halloween, and you could use these backgrounds. So give it a go. This was my first time experimenting. I've seen it done on Amy R's channel, and she said Stacy Hutchinson's is the one who came up with this on a blog post. I don't know where it's at, but if you want to search it that way, you can as well. And I'm just coloring this up. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink to stamp with. I use Copic Express It blending cardstock, and I'm just coloring her up and just trying to deepen the shadows on the bottom, on the outside of the face, and then so there's not really a light source. The light source would be like a center light source, not coming from the right or the left. I mean, you know, if the moon's behind her, that's kind of how it would be. She'd probably be more shadowed, but color it up how you want. And what I'm going to do here is play some music, and then when I'm done coloring, I'll come back. If there's anything that I need to explain what I did, I'll interrupt the video to do that. And here she is all colored up, guys. Isn't she cute? Okay, this one I did with Tree Lot Mica Stain, and I'm using a Lawn Fawn grassy border and some IO dyes for that black cat silhouette. I'm just using the branch out of this set. And IO, I don't think their dyes are around anymore, but look in your stash. This isn't even meant for Halloween, but I saw that I had a branch and I went with it. This is just some orangey yellow colored cardstock, and I used Distress Ink to make it dingy, and then I'm using these pumpkin dyes from CC Designs, which I got from Tina Crafty Bean, and I colored the stalks of the pumpkins, the stems, with that Copic. I actually inked over it and didn't like that they were the same color, and then went over the inked ones with that color. So just look and see what you have in your stash. You could even start with white cardstock and color it up, or pumpkin stamps. And then I'm going to make that, I cut the branch out of black cardstock in the cat, so I want to make it like it's walking across the branch there above her head. And I added some Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen to her eyes and like where the pumpkin guts were, and then put glossy accents over that. And I fussy cut her, and then I used a black Memento Tuxedo black pen and went around the edge so that you couldn't see any errors that I made, or the white border on the white, what is that, the core of the cardstock, so that it would blend in. It's just a little trick you can do to help with your fussy cutting. And then I'm just fiddling, trying to get my layout right. And I was deciding whether or not I wanted to put some pumpkins behind her and then behind the grass. And I decided to put it all behind the grass because I liked that dark silhouette of the grass. And as you could see, I didn't glue the grass down all the way up towards the top because I knew I was going to be tucking some of these pumpkins in behind. And then as I was gluing them in, one fell out. So I had to put them back and glue them in. And then I'm just putting glue behind those really tall stalks of grass, the blades of grass. And I use big acrylic blocks to weight down my project sometimes, especially because this is watercolor paper that warped a tiny bit, and it helps to just hold it down while that glue dries some. Most of the time I don't even let it dry all the way, just enough to hold it in place while I move forward with the rest of what I want to do. Oh, here's where I'm going in with the clear glitter pen, and then I'm going to go over it with glossy accents. So I'm just putting it on our eyes, I put it on the glowing portion of the pumpkin, and then the guts, and then I'm going to put glossy accents over the eyes, and then the innards of the pumpkin, you know, that are all dripping down her hand and face and everywhere. So I debated putting it over the entire pumpkin, but thought, no, I want the, you know, like the pumpkin brains, what are supposed to be pumpkin brains, to look gooey or wet. And then I went ahead and I'm going to use another one of those backgrounds, and I brought in this stamp set that is a pretty peony from English Pottery stamp set. I'm going to color it up with some cool grays so that it's like a black and white, since I'm trying to do a Halloween theme here. And I'm just going to shade the flower and color it in, and I'm going to do one on camera for you here, and then play some music while I color, and I'll be back. going to show you, I use some dies. I use these CC design dies again, but I use some leaves out of it, and I cut it out of black cardstock and vellum. And I also brought in some black gems. And here's the finished card. If I cut the image out and tuck those leaves behind it with some vellum and the black cardstock. And then here's our pumpkin brain girl. I think I like them both. And was a fun technique. It just very impactful and super easy. Give it a go. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.